It's now time for Monster Soup, with your really fun at parties host, Dave Spencer, and his level-headed co-host, Brian McKinney. These dudes will explore all the crazy mysteries roaming our forest and deserted hallways. After all, monsters are real. It's Monster Soup time right now. Get it while it's hot. And now your hosts, Dave and Brian.
Why, hello! Welcome to Monster Soup, a kitchen conversation of misfits, cryptids, and these kids. I am David Spencer, your head-wounded host, and with me, as always, in the woods, they call him Ranger Camel Toe, but we call him Brian McKinney.
What's up, Soupies?
I just want to get it right off the bat. I want to comment about what I look like right now. If you're watching us on the video thing, but if you need a vision in your head, if you're just listening to the podcast, I have a giant bandage on my head and sunglasses on. Specifically, the sunglasses are to cover up the giant black eye that I have from an accident I got in this weekend. Wear your helmet, kids, because sometimes when you're working out and deciding to go for a cool bicycling goal, you fly off that thing and you injure yourself real bad. So for your sake, and if you want to see this up in my eye, look at that. It's great. It's the biggest. I didn't even hit my eye. It's so stupid the way that works. She was like, "You'll get a black eye." I'm like, "Cool," and I didn't realize it would like totally shut up. Like literally, it's like a slit. I'm trying to work today. I was like pulling it apart. Like, I think I can see that.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. When I saw you the other night, I was like, "Oh, that's definitely I'm surprised it's not like the whole side of your face. It's just your eye." But
it hasn't moved its way down. We'll see how it goes, but
you should take advantage of too, so we get the full, Monty as far as what it looks like.
I almost did. I had it pulled off, and I was like, I need to clean this. This isn't like anything anybody wants to look at. It's got the like gel on it still and stuff, so it's just like it's like the scene from the Thing. So I was like, no, thank you. Essentially, what happened was I was going down a hill. I was trying to, I went on a new path that I didn't ever go on, and I'm coming back. Basically, the way the bike hill works is there's a valley. It like you basically bike down a hill into it, and then you bike out of it. And then I was going to basically like turn around and go home, like, basically double back. And on the way down, I was just not even pedaling, just going as fast as I could, or just going fast because naturally by the use of gravity. And I was like, I'm going a little fast. I was like, if anybody's going the other way, this is going to be a problem. But like, as I was thinking about that, there was kind of a sharp turn, and I kind of like turned my bike kind of quickly, and I hit my brakes, and I overcorrected, and I basically threw myself off my bike. Luckily, I didn't hit the concrete, like the concrete trail. I hit like the gravel on the side, which, either or are bad, but like I feel like hitting the actual like hard, non like, cushioned sort of gravel would have been really, really bad. So, I got to walk out there with no bones. But I did sustain a pretty bad. I immediately noticed blood running down my face. I was just like, and that's one of those moments where like I'm down a very steep hill, like kind of far. Like I was riding my bike kind of far, not far enough to like not be able to walk it back, but just like, do I call my wife right now and tell her to pick me up? Do I get someone to get me? I was like, do I ride through this thing? Like, but I was like, I'm gushing blood right now. It'll be a horrific sight just seeing somebody ride by you that's just like covered in blood, just like I'll become my own cryptid, like the screaming cyclist of Baroque.
and you would have been like a couple of miles from where your car was, right? Or did
I came from,
you rode there the whole way?
From my house. Yeah. I was 11 miles away from my house. I called my wife, and I was just like, hey, I hit my head. I'm still like next to my bike, kind of out of it, and I'm just like, I hit my head, and it's really bad. I think I need you to pick me up. She's like, where are you? I'm like, I don't really know how to describe where I'm at. And then my phone cut out, and then my wife thought that I passed out, so she's freaking out. I call her back, and I was just like, hey. I was like, hey, sorry. And she's like, I thought you died. I thought you passed out. I'm like, I'm fine. Just, she's like, have somebody help you. And I was like, no one's around. And I was like, I'll just walk up to the top of the hill. It's no problem. I'm gushing blood. The only thing I had was my favorite hoodie, and I'm literally holding it against my head, just like bleeding it through. And I was like, oh, I hope this blood comes out. My favorite hoodie, which it did, thank God, of all the things. But I saw two people walking by who were like coming close, and I like went up to the top of this like little hill and like faced away from them, like played on my phone. I was just kind of like, I was like, I didn't want to like ruin their day with my nonsense of like, oh, we were gonna go for a nice walk, but now we got to tend to this like, you know, Jimmy Neutron looking dude halfway through. So
with
you know,
a giant gash on his forehead.
Yeah, just, so I was just like, I just faced away, and they kind of walked by, and then I made my way up the hill. I saw a lady halfway through, and she's, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm fine. My wife's beating me. Good thing there's not a large hill here." Like, okay, it's like, sorry. But yeah, I ended up getting 4 stitches, which I was like, I'm fine, don't worry about it. I don't need to go to the hospital. And my wife's like, you never go to the hospital, just go to the hospital. Like, you need to get stitches, or you need to at least get looked at. And I'm like, I'll be fine. I'll just clean it out at home. And I was like, let me at least take a shower. Like, I hadn't showered for the day. I haven't done anything. I hadn't brushed my teeth. I just basically like went for a bike ride and was going to come back and start my day after that. And so I was just like, let me at least take a shower. I need to put deodorant on, do all that stuff. So she's like, okay, take a shower, and then we're going to go to the hospital. You know, like if you think it through. And then after I cleaned it out and I looked at the gash, I was like, yeah, this is not closing up on its own. This isn't a thing my body is capable of. So I went in, and then I was fun thing is you can lie to them every 9 seconds, like, because you run into, like, when you go to the hospital, you talk to like 12 people, and like every time they're like, what happened, you can just tell them something new. So the first thing I did was I'm holding this like ice bag up to my head, and I walk into, originally it was urgent care, but they wouldn't stitch my head up. But I walked in with this thing on my head, and I was like, we're here for her. And but then I walked into the real hospital, and we got to the security, and I was like, she beats me. And she was like, don't say that. They actually will believe you. And I was like, okay. And then so we get to the back, and then you know, the lady was like, you know, what happened? And I was just kind of like, oh, I was defending an old lady's honor. And then another person was like, what happened? And I was like, a shark attack. I just changed it every time I met somebody.
Every time it was different.
And then every time then when we left, I go, you're gonna be so proud of me. She's like, why? I was like, I wanted to scream she has a gun so bad. To the security officer, she's got a gun. She's like, what's wrong with you? I was like, I can't help it. Yeah.
You were concussed. You didn't even know what you were doing, you know?
Yeah, really. I could blame the concussion. I'm sorry, I was out of it. They gave me baby aspirins.
Yeah. Well, but the fact that it's not just a regular like straight gash that they stitched up, it's like all spider webbed, and
yeah, it's like a star. It's like, so it was a nice one. So the one EMT looked at me, and he's just like, see, it's like an older guy. He had like a little gut, and he pats it, and he goes, that's why I don't work out. It's too dangerous. I know.
Oh man,
could have stayed at home. If only I would have just opened the pool that day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had any issues.
Yeah, the one day you could have gotten out of exercising.
This stuff doesn't happen when you do chores in the backyard. It's not nearly as fun. But
did you end up damaging your bike at all?
Just cracked my mirror, which I don't use anyway. So like it was, you know, like it came with a mirror, and I was just like, okay, whatever. And then, you know, I use it every once in a while just to like be like, oh, I should set this up in case anybody's kind of behind me. But like I never ever look at it, and I never notice anybody passing me until they're passing me. So, and I always have my headphones on, so it doesn't make a difference. I don't know, but
is this gonna set you back at all on your bike trip that you're planning on doing in the fall?
As soon as this is like sort of healed up, my ribs hurt a little bit, but as soon as this heals up, I'll be good to go. I think I'll be golden. So
cool.
But other than that, feeling good.
Yeah.
And my helmet came today that I'm now contractually obligated to wear via my wife.
In your kids, when I was over there after it happened that evening, and your kids were like, "Dad, wear a helmet."
I know.
Wear a helmet.
I don't know. Well, I've also sullied the being able to say anything in my house for this week at least. I've been like saying something. She's like, "What do you know? You don't wear a helmet." And I'm like, "Oh." Like it's hard to like negotiate that when you're like have a full closed black eye and a like just starburst. Like, no, I'm the smarter one. Like, well, obviously not.
They're like, Dad, I'm not the one with a butthole on my forehead.
Like, listen, I'll put a butthole in your forehead. No, that sounds way worse than I thought it would. Out loud. Oh man. But yeah, so that was that. That was fun. So now we're in sunglasses, the podcast, like a weirdo. I don't wear sunglasses that often, so it's kind of hard to see, but I want you guys to not be as distracted by my like Quasimodo'd face right now.
And if you're listening to it, you turn on the YouTube channel and check it out live.
Just check it out. Just watch it there, and then simultaneously look how stupid I look, and then so hopefully next time you see me, I'll have it like cut. Well, you won't, because we're doing 2 in a row. I'll look exactly the same. Oh man. So yeah, but yeah. So if you're joining us live, we're not live. We apologize for that. Brian is going on a cruise. You're going on a cruise, right?
I am just going to Florida. No cruise this time, but we're leaving on Friday the 6th, so it can't be live, and then we return Saturday the 13th or something.
So
I'll be on for 2 Fridays, or Saturday the 14th. So so we're gonna record 2, and then we'll be live after that.
Yeah, and I'll be in the chat, hanging out, talking. If you wanna, I'll hang out with the people while you're yucking it up, drinking poolside, whatever you're doing.
That's the beauty of it. Don't really have much of anything planned. We're gonna be in like the greater Orlando area, and the kids are all planning on going to Universal and Disney and a bunch of that stuff. I'm planning on sitting by the pool and enjoying some adult beverages and just relaxing.
Heck yeah, man.
Turn into Larry the Lobster. I'll be living like Larry.
Yeah. You're going to be Larry the Lobster. I'm Headwood Harry. We're Harry and Larry. just like our oh no, that was Lloyd and Harry.
Lloyd, yeah.
Our keywords for when we run into the weird folk at like our little cons. We're like, gotta go. Hey Larry. Yeah.
Hey Lloyd, I'll be over here putting out the vibe.
Wrap it up. When somebody's like, the government's putting small discs inside of our brain, and I know because every night I wake up and they're in my room. Like, I think that's just the people that take care of you. Oh, no. I'm gonna walk backwards slowly like that Homer meme.
Yeah, bro.
Oh man, yeah. So big week. Hopefully by the time you see us live again, I'll be nice and healed up, or at least on my way to recovery. Right now I feel like an idiot. I've been like blacked out on all my meetings lately, just like I'm not even showing anybody my face. I'm a face shower in most video things. I'm usually the most talker, hence why I have a podcast. But yeah, so I don't know. That's where we're at. So this week we're discussing video games. Not only video games, but a very mysterious video game from the 80s.
The most mysterious, apparently.
The most mysterious. So as you know, back in the year was 1981, things were hopping in the arcade. You know, Asteroids, Pac-Man, Galaga, Samurai Showdown. If it was the 90s, that was my video game of choice. But yeah, so you know, there was. I
mean, don't even challenge me to Asteroids. I will beat anybody.
I specifically remember oh, go ahead.
I had a full-size Asteroids cabinet video game in my bedroom. Played that thing like till the sun came down. I had that in a pinball machine too. And
dude, heck yeah.
Now it was only in my bedroom because when I was like 14, I moved down into the basement. So basically, it was a social area for everybody. But I get sick of sharing a room with my brother, so I moved downstairs, and so therefore it became in my bedroom. And this would have been like the late 80s, and we got them as a gift from a family friend, and we couldn't afford to buy those, you know, for ourselves. Yeah. So somebody gifted them to us, you know, a few years after, you know, the newer kind of cooler games came out. But you know, having that Asteroids machine in my bedroom, just like, you know, it had that like low rumble, like Sonic. Burr, 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 you know? Don't. You know, it would get
Yeah.
faster and faster. And that awesome little isosceles triangle, you know, that thing just, I could zoom that thing around and pew, 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 pew.
That little Tokyo
Yeah.
drifted all around.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, the ball joystick. I could roll that thing like it was nobody's business, like nothing you ever seen before.
I feel like that put a value on a quarter that like I don't think
Uh-huh.
kids understand these days. Like when I see a quarter, I still get like a little bit of like a hit of like serotonin. It's a small drip now because it means really nothing anymore.
Yeah.
But like I still get like a little like, oh, that used to be like so important to me as a kid. Because every time I found a quarter, I pocketed it. Because I was like, you never know when you're in a laundromat or you know at the Pizza Hut or whatever, and you can play the Ninja Turtles game, which was my personal favorite. Which just sucked down quarters, but it was so awesome. I like the sound of that game specifically is so nostalgic for me and like brings me back to like eating deep dish pizza, red cups from Pizza Hut, the little ones with the, you know, they still have them, but which I ended up getting for my wife for Christmas because I was like, remember these? And then but I ended up getting the wrong size, and I was like, I don't have time to return them. Yeah, it's like that. Some of those cups with the crushed ice and like your own personal pan deep dish pizza that maybe you were in Bookit at the time and you read a bunch of books. I always read a bunch of comic books, and I got a cool Bookit, and I knew it. And then sometimes they give you an X-Men poster.
It's like, I mean, certainly with the way video games are nowadays and how awesome they are, you know, our kids would, you know, look at that stuff and, you know, think it was silly, but to not be able to really play games at home, you know, I'm talking like pre-consoles or, you know, pre the original Atari, having to go to the mall and go to the arcade or your local, you know, not grocery store, but like retail store that might have one or two video games out in the front next to the popcorn stand and next to the slushy machine, and like have that quarter and wait in line and wait your turn to play a game and probably lose within 2 minutes, you know, you know, your Pac-Man style game or anything like that. But, you know, they'll never have that experience. They could just turn on their consoles and pretty much play any game they want. You don't need to purchase the games and have like physical copies anymore. You just download it.
I know. And some games are just straight up free. Like Fortnite's free. You can just play that. I have a specific core memory of playing Street Fighter. My dude was I forget his name right now. The green guy. What's the green guy's name from? Somebody's screaming right now.
I don't remember.
Hold on, I got Japan. Like the things they say in that game are like just memory hits for me. I don't know why this is like so bad. Oh, Blanca. Okay. I wanted to say Baraka, which is Mortal Kombat. And I was just like, it's not that. It overwrote it, the file in my brain. Blanca was my dude, and his whole thing was like a charge attack, like and I remember I did like 3 moves, and that was one of them. And I remember this guy was just dominating, just ripping people through. And I'm just a little like 10-year-old, and I went in and I was able to hit him one time, and he was like, he actually hit me. And I was like, and, you know, he smoked me throughout, but I got a couple hits on him. I was pretty proud of myself. I was like, yeah, no big deal, you know. But I didn't dominate though. But yeah, loading those quarters up, people would put them on the actual side, the bottom, whatever. And they'd be like, that's my quarter. You just sit in line. That's so cool. It's such a good time. But yeah, that's just not a thing anymore. And I guess you do it online, which is fine, but it's just not the same. But also at the same time, like I didn't get to play that much because, like, you know, obviously my mom wasn't like made of quarters, so like I could only do so much. But you know, in that age of everything, there was just lots of. I mean, you remember being a kid, you would hear lore and it would just burst. You know, like you would just be like, I heard, you know, this like little legend, and then you know, urban legends just kind of like the name of the game when you're a kid. That's
then like if somebody told you at school, it was true. Like there was no questioning anything.
Yeah. If 2 people told you, it's confirmed. It's 100% true fact. Print it, go for it. But you get enough people, and then especially you want to be the person with interesting stories. So a lot of big things kind of build from there. I remember telling tons of stories about was this place called Gore Orphanage that's by us, and we used to just tell stories all the time. But then you'd listen to like a ghost documentary, and it'd be the exact same stories that you heard before. And you're like, wait a minute, that's from my town. And you're like, no, and then you're like, oh, it's everybody's got the same stories. The kids like pushing the car or whatever. It's just like a constant, like somebody was on fire on the bridge. It was like, oh wait, that was our town. It's like, no, It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It was just everybody grabbed the story and put it where their creepy place was in town.
Mm-hmm.
I remember even just like secrets in games. So I'd be like, oh, if you hit the shell in Mario at this specific spot, you can get like 99 lives. And I was like, oh, and I like even wrote it into like an essay I had to write. I was like, wow. And then I remember like my friend read it and he's like, this isn't like a thing that you can actually do, right? And I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I wrote it as gospel because we had to write like a how-to like essay, and I was like, I'll just do how to get 99 lives in Mario because I didn't feel like writing it about anything else.
It was like if they wrote it today and ChatGPT wrote it and it just made up its own information. They're like, Dave, that's not even a real part of the game.
Yeah, exactly. So there was this game, and the name of it was was Polybius, and basically the idea was so the people would go and all of a sudden there was this game that just showed up one day at the arcade, and kids were playing it and they were just like, oh, people were lining up, all the way around the arcade playing this game, and it was just crazy, like sounds, like everything you could think of, just that in that time was like enticing and crazy, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's just kind of activating my brain, and this is in a time that like video games are seen as just like addictive. I mean, they are now, but like when things are new, they're even more so. Like like things like Kiss and stuff. Oh my God, Devil's music, and then you're like compared to now, it's just like, what are you talking about? Like it's not even the same. But so like, but back in the day, just seeing all these things happen, and there, so that as the story goes, just people line up around the block. There was in this story, all these kids went home and they had like basically a manic episodes, seizures, nightmares, memory loss, insomnia, hallucinations, and an aversion to video games afterwards, like an addiction to video games. And so basically, and then one day, they basically CIA people came in. What the story is that people like Men in Black sort of people came in and it disappeared. And the idea was that they were collecting data, and it was a whole like PSYOP program of like to collect data from kids. And basically there's a program called, I'm sure everybody who listens to the show at least is aware of, MK Ultra, about programming people and trying to get them to be government operatives. So this is like the start of that, was like the tale,
like a Manchurian Candidate kind of a thing.
Yeah. And the only real like that somebody was like, oh, I in an online forum, an only real like thing that people can point to as like maybe is there's this online forum on was it coinop.org? I think so. It's hard for me to read my coinop.org, and but basically this guy basically said he has the original ROM, and he had a picture of it, and it showed like the cabinet and what it looked like, the graphics that were on it, and then he basically said that that this company called Sinishlotion, is that how to say it?
Yeah, Sinishlotion. Yeah, it's
Sinishlotion. It's German, and it means what is it?
Sensory deletion.
Sensory deletion? Is it, or deprivation?
So, yeah, same thing.
So basically, like, couldn't be more of a creepypasta written kind of, like oh, and it's called sensory deprivation if you look into it. The evil company. But yeah, so he basically said like he had the original ROMs and he had a picture of it, and he was off to go find the company, and then he never came back to like reveal his findings. Obviously, long story short, this thing it's not real. Back in the day there was,
I don't know, man. I remember in third grade, Timmy was telling me I put a Aladdin's Castle at the Midway Mall. He was playing Polybius, and he went nuts, and nobody ever saw him after that. So I don't know. Could be true.
He poured orange juice on top of his head. He said he was a glass of orange juice. I mean, like, well, there were two incidents of kids getting sick playing in Portland, Oregon, which is this is supposed to originate from. So in Portland, Oregon was like the origination. sure, let's go with that. Of the story, and there wasn't an instance of somebody playing a game, like one kid playing like a game for I think 28 hours and then collapsing, or he had a heart attack, I think, or no, I think he just collapsed. And then another kind of like same situation, but these were a different game, and they were obviously playing too much, but they were both trying to get a high score. So it wasn't like some casual kid walking in. Like these kids were like, I have a mission. And they probably had that like thing where they're just kind of like, when you're locked in, and I don't need to leave. Like my son gets that every once in a while. I'm like, you need to eat, dude. Have you eaten today? And he's like, I'm good. And I'm like, dude, you need to eat. Just like how they can't unassociate with stuff.
Yeah, they're still locked into it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of fun little parts of it. I mean, I love video game lore in general. It's like probably my favorite topic. But one of my favorite topics. Because
video games would be, a perfect way to do like a government run psychology experiment or something,
Oh yeah, I mean,
or use it for other means. I mean, like the classic 1984 movie, The Last Starfighter. You could, set up the video game to have somebody play it, and whoever breaks the record, you could use them to, go up into space and save the Earth. I'm just saying. I'm just spitballing. I don't really know. And I'm just saying.
Yeah, the movie Toys with Robin Williams. He same premise. Like there's this general that was gifted the toy factory, and he was training kids to like basically they didn't know it, but they were like bombing cities and stuff. But they were like, they don't know that, Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the toy. Whole different movie.
With Richard Pryor with the dicey plot of owns a black man.
Would not be greenlit today. I don't think.
But yeah, so this isn't like a new plot or anything like that, and it's for anybody who's kind of like already a little like dicey about the government, like seeing these things kind of, especially as a kid, just being like, oh my god, the thing that I love, or even just like at least a mom's group finding out about this and then just full-heartedly believing it. I mean, people who believe in AI, who see things that are blatantly AI, and they're just like, oh my gosh, like they're or wish this veteran happy birthday, but they got like 6 fingers, and you're like, okay, this isn't a real person, that, right? Like, how come things like this don't go viral? Because it's not a real picture. But yeah, there's just like within that, it's just like it was like red meat for the situation. Like, oh, there was you don't want to get taken by the government, Timmy, back in the day or something like that. But I think
did they like ultimately use this to try to like shut down arcades or stop video games, kind of like they did with the music industry when they were doing the parental advisory stickers and stuff like that? Or was this just straight lore just for gamers, or was there anything more to it as far as
as far as I read it, this is just pure lore from gamers. I mean, since there was no like actual like hits of it actually being a real thing, and it purely was like an urban legend. It didn't bleed its way into like real thing. I think it was just another arrow in the quiver of moms who don't want these things to happen. And I say that there's a level of, so I know that video games in general get blamed for a lot of things that happen because there's like a 1-to-1. It's like, oh, there's shooter games and we have shootings. It's like the way your brain reacts to one or the other are different. And I think that either way, like, I mean, my son plays Fallout and he loves Fallout, but like when I watch him play, he's just building communities. Like he's like, whatever. So like, I mean, sure, there's a gun there and he does do that stuff, but then he's also just kind of like, I built this whole structure and it has 3 stories and I decorated it. And we'll spend like 9 hours decorating and then playing the same like 9 songs that he loves. They're like from the 1930s, which I think is so funny. It's just like, be careful of what you do. I was like, so okay.
Funny. I remember you telling me that, that they were 1930 songs, and I was just like, that's so funny. I could totally get into like, Grand Theft Auto, like Vice City, where they're playing like straight up like 80s music. Like that's my jam.
Oh, yeah. Freaking ruled. Yeah, but he's like, the lady told me she'd give me a kiss on the cheek. And he's just like, just jamming, dabbing.
He's got one hand on the controller, the other hand's up in the air doing the Charleston, and he's full on dancing.
Well, I was listening to this guy talk about it, and I thought this was pretty relevant because every study that's come out about video games being harmful has been built on the backs of people that sponsored that study. Mm-hmm. And so you always have to kind of look at who, kind of sponsor, because there's always, like if it's never done as like a blind test, like usually. And obviously everything in moderation, like no matter what, like, we drink on the weekends, but we just drink on the weekends, sometimes Thursday or a bad day or something like that. But for the most part, like we drink in moderation, but you go past that and all of a sudden you go to a meeting and talk to your family. Same thing with smoking. It's like you smoke too much, all of a sudden your lungs give out. Everything in moderation. Video games, same thing. You can't play those 24 hours a day, every day. And then, it just doesn't, your brain just can't comprehend that. But at the same time, like for me, like I use it as a stress reliever of like, no matter what I'm thinking about when I do that, like it's the only thing I'm thinking about. So I'm just kind of like, oh, the problems are kind of out here now. I can kind of just be like, I am Kratos. Like the game I'm playing right now is God of War, and I'm almost to the end of it. I'm replaying it because I played it on easy originally because it was really hard, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go down to easy. Who am I trying to? What am I proving this to? It's only me here. So I put it on easy, and then I like felt bad about that forever, and I was like, I've never played that on like at least regular, so I played it on regular. I think did I just beat it? No, I paused it. I'm on the last thing. If you know what I'm talking about, anybody in the thing, I'm on the last Valkyrie Queen. She's so freaking hard. I might not beat it again. I don't care about that. I'd already done it once and it was so hard. But yeah, so it's just I think we're in a pretty good cycle of just like of people knowing where like video games stand in the world. I mean, especially now, like a lot more adults play video games as opposed to like back then. It was like there wasn't a lot of there wasn't a lot of people who had access to video games in general. But like
and your parents were like, what are you doing playing those kids games? Well, my generation, we grew up and they, well, except for me, I'm like the only person I know that isn't a gamer, and it's only because I speak at it.
You're why are there 30 more buttons than there was when I was a kid?
Look, I had a hard enough time, on the old, original Nintendo NES system, but I did all right back then playing Contra and like Super Mario, like the original and stuff like that. But as they added buttons, I was, started falling off the wayside. So I like to watch people play a little bit, but I'm just not very good at it, so I don't put any time into it. But they're so much cooler, than before. And so realistic, and you kind of go back to like the war games and stuff like that. Maybe a game does influence one person to go out and do that kind of stuff, but how many millions of other people are just playing it for fun, and they're never going to go do that? You're gonna ban all these games because somebody who probably had their own mental health problems before that, who probably would have done that anyway, happened to also play video games.
Yeah, like they already had an arsenary. They just happened to play.
They'd already been killing cats and setting garages on fire, but it was the video game that did it. No.
They just found a game that was very similar to their interests. It's just like when you put a fishing sticker on your truck. It's like, well, of course I'm going to get the games that play the way I want to act. And I play Last of Us because I like shooting zombies and I really like that story. It's amazing. Favorite game of all time? If anyone was asking, everyone wondering, Last of Us Part 2. Wait, and then Last of Us Part 2, and then probably Last of Us Part 1 too, the first one, and then it would probably be Horizon Zero Dawn. I have a affinity for that game. It was the first game I got with my PlayStation 4, and I was just played it, and I was just like, it like opened my eyes to like what you could do. I didn't even know like how to play that kind of game. It was just like hunting dinosaur robots, and I was like, this is the best game I've ever played. And then Aloy was really cool. But yeah, you don't know what I'm talking about, but people who do, they know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I know a couple of those. My all-time favorite game, Excite Bike, classic. Build your own track. You only got to hit one button and go up and down.
Honestly, but it's perfect. So sometimes the classic, like Tetris, is still the best game of all time. It's just it's simple. Anytime you get somebody Tetris, they'll be able to like at least be like, oh, I know how to play this game. Flip down. Like even even my wife likes Tetris, and then and she doesn't like video games at all, but she just like once she's like, this is something I can get behind. It's like everything else. I remember we played this one game with the kids. It was like a 4-player game, like old school Ninja Turtles style. And my wife played for like a minute and a half, and she's like, my fingers hurt so bad. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, it's just so hard to push the joystick. I'm like, you literally just push it a little to the left or to the right. And she's just like, I'm like pushing down and then over. I'm like, no, you don't have to like use any muscle. You just literally like push a little bit. She just doesn't understand.
That's how I am. I remember like trying to play Halo and stuff like that, and it's like I can't. Or even like I see especially my daughter, like a few years ago when she was still like a little kid playing Fortnite, and she'd run and jump up in the air and flip and shoot and kill people, and then she's like, "Here, play with me," and I run forward, I stop, I turn to the right, I turn back, I jump, I duck, and then I die. I couldn't do it all at once. But back in the day, like at the arcades, when it was just one joystick and then like your trigger button, or something like that, I was really good at that stuff. Galaga, Centipede, like we mentioned Asteroids, Space Invaders, all those, early games. Was really good at the arcade style game. Even into like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Akari Warriors, like Rampage, all those kind of 80s style arcade games. Was good at that stuff. But once we got to the consoles, I got to where it was like all of a sudden I reached my limit. I wasn't coordinated enough to keep it going after that.
I was always really good at that. Actually got me really good at the Mario games. Mm-hmm. Like I can like there's games where like who can push A the fastest or whatever. We'll be like blowing up a balloon or whatever, and I dominate every time because of Centipede, because it's just like you just shoot the one gun and I'm just like got it, and I do a thing where I spasm my finger. I can like make it just like go, so it just like and I just dominate everybody. Like nobody can ever be, at least in my family, can't beat me.
I remember the first time in an arcade actually getting in, finally having a turn and also having like $1 in quarters and sitting down and playing pole position, where you actually sat down in the chair, could shift gears, you had a gas and a brake. I'm like 10, not even close to being old enough to drive, and it's like you get in this car and it was the coolest thing you would ever done in your life. You're like, I played pole position.
I remember having like a thought of like, driving will never not be cool. Like when I was a kid, like I was just like, it's always going to be rad. I'm going to love it forever. And I am such a passenger princess. I I freaking hate driving. Anytime my wife wants to drive, I'm like, absolutely. I hate this. Stupid. I will just sit there in the car. Every once in a while when I have to drive, I'm like, fine, I'll drive. I hate it so much. Like I like driving on long trips, but like if we're like going somewhere, I'm like, I don't feel like hearing like where we're going. Like I don't even know how to get to most places because I just sit in the passenger seat. And every time I do have to drive, she's like, "You don't have to get there. We've gone like 100 times." I'm like, "You've driven every time. I don't know where we are at all."
You're too busy looking outside, watching the side of the road for squatches,
Yeah, or doing that thing where you like jump from pole to pole. Did you ever do that when you were a kid? Yep. Like you pretend like this little guy chasing your car. I found out recently that like those things you're like, this is my experience. And you find out like everybody did the same thing.
Everybody did that. Yeah.
I was just like, how do we all do the same thing? That's another strange thing that like needs its own little like I don't know, like experimentation or something. It's like we all kind of did these own little secret things we never told anybody about,
but we were all doing it.
Yeah, we're all doing it. Like, why was that? Like, why is that? If we just want to zero in on that specific thing, it's like, why does every single person do that same little trick in the car? And it's probably just as easy as like there's stuff passing you and you're trying to pass time, and so you add a guy. Mine would always be like this kind of like, I think probably when I was into like The Crow or stuff like that, he had like a trench coat, so I was like, raw, like a weird little dude like that. It was just really fast, but like, yeah, it's just freaking weird that we all have. There's so many things like that. I can't think of it right now, but that one specifically stands out. But I wonder if there's anything. Whatever, I don't know. I have 2 examples of so Berserker is another game. But this is a real game, like a game that is confirmed as a real game. So there are 2 cases of death because of this game, or immediately following playing this game. Jeffrey Daly was in 1981. He was age 19 in Illinois. They reportedly died of a heart attack shortly after scoring 16,660 points on Berserk. He had just finished entering his initials into the high score list when he collapsed. Cause of death, heart attack, possibly overestimated by underlying health conditions. He also had like nothing but Coca-Cola all day. So, and the stress of trying to have the high score probably contributed to it. Another one was Peter Berkowitz. Berkowski. He was 18, South Holland, Illinois. He played Berserk and achieved the high score twice in a row. Shortly after, he collapsed and died of a heart attack. And this case becomes more famous than Daly's and is often cited as the first video game related death. Heart attack reportedly had a congenital heart defect. So again, yeah, so they both died of heart attacks, not because of the game, not because the game was giving them anything, but because they played an insane amount of game and passed out.
I mean, I don't care what game it was. You know, the one or two times I ever got the highest score on anything, there was not a better feeling than putting your initials and seeing them at the top, and that feeling of accomplishment. And you're like, everybody's gonna see this. You know, that cute girl from 4th grade is gonna see my name, my 3 initials in here, and she's gonna know it was me. You know, and we're gonna fall in love.
She puts little hearts on her notebook with my initials in between them. Best at Galaga. Actually, I was watching my son play this Jurassic Park game. Like basically, it's like you're driving around a Jeep or whatever and shooting it, and he got insanely far. Like I was like, I died. I've played this game before. I'm not that good at it. And he was just like, grr, grr. And I was like, how many quarters have you put in this? He's just like, literally the first ones. That's it. Like, you know, because games aren't a quarter anymore. They're like $1.50. So, well, now they're just like a card that you swipe, which is bullcrap. And I hate that arcades don't have arcade games anymore. They don't have anything that's just like, they don't have a Galaga Pac-Man section. You go there and it's claw machines and ticket shooters. I hate it so much. It's stupid. And I understand why. I just think it's stupid. The only arcades they have are like barcades, and those, I mean, half of those are broken. I want them to make new freaking arcade games. Even if it's just a ported one, they port it from the console and make it into a cabinet. Drives me crazy. Anyway, the market's not there anymore, but still.
And it's like we have in Lakewood. I think there's a couple in the Cleveland area, but you know those bars that have the old video games stuff, and it's cool to go in and wax nostalgic and just have a couple beers, play some Galaga.
Play some Ninja Turtles, man. Get 4 of your friends together, play some Turtles like 5 again. It's great. Yeah, literally there isn't a better feeling than playing some couch co-op. I love. There's a really cool. If you guys have kids and stuff, I can't recommend this game enough. It's called It Takes Two. If you like playing video games and you like playing it with you want to kind of like connect with your kids in like a way, there's a game called It Takes Two. I played it with my daughter and my son. It's just really cool. There's a horrific part of the game where you do have to kill your kid's favorite stuffed animal. That's for no reason whatsoever. And I'm like, well, I mean, there is a reason for it, but you're like, surely. Like you won't actually do it, right? And it's horrific. Yeah. You're just gonna you tear her arms off, and she's really nice, and you're like, why did I do this? But I couldn't do that as the selling point. I shouldn't say this is the selling point, but like the entire game is so much fun and so interesting, and there's things to do every time. Every new level is interesting and fun to play, and it's got new mechanics like every level, and you guys get to work together. Like one person can't do what the other person can do, so you literally have to work together. It's just a cool way to kind of like bond with your kids, and like especially if you're not super into video games, I think it's a very easy or a very good like kind of like jump off point. So It Takes Two. I can't recommend it enough. It's a wonderful studio, and it's about basically a couple that's getting a divorce, and it's them like rediscovering their love through the reasons why they fell in love together, like him having a garden, and then like them like just her love of song and like all this stuff. It's I cried at the end. It's so good. Anyway, but there's a funny part right at the end. It's like push X to kiss, and I'm playing with my son. And he's like, no. I was like, we gotta do it, man. We gotta push X. Character's gotta kiss. I just thought it was so funny. So a couple other weird games that are out there that kind of have some stigma or some some lore around them, I guess. The Lavender Town Syndrome is a Pokemon. It's a song within the Pokemon game. The early Japanese version, the music in Lavender Town reportedly caused headaches, anxiety, and suicidal behavior in children. There's no verifiable deaths or evidence. Likely an internet hoax started in 2010. However, the creepy music and setting did disturb many players, adding to the mythos. So now I got to listen to that song. The kill screen incident in Pac-Man. If you guys have seen the movie King of Kong, first off, see that movie. It's amazing. Super good documentary about getting the high score in Donkey Kong. And also, like, I've never like cheered something so hard. Like the end of that movie, I was like, oh my God, that's great. It's so good. I can't recommend this. It's interesting in so many ways of like the old school, like all those old school games and stuff, and about like just how they keep scores and stuff, and just this weird man from Galaxy's Edge or Galaxy Quest. I forgot what they call it. But it's fantastic. King of Kong, check it out. So Pac-Man at level 256, a bug causes the screen to fill with garbled symbols, making the game unplayable. Some players believe that the kill screen could trigger strange glitches or even psychological effects, but that's just a myth. It's a programming overflow bug. It's basically
a good thing. I mean, I never saw that. I only got up to level 255, so
I thought you were going to say 2. Because that's all as far as I've gotten. That game is not for me.
No, I actually was pretty good at that. But I mean, good God, by the time you get up to like level 25, it's moving so fast. Like, I don't know how you could,
My hands are too clammy to be playing like that. I would just be, the place would be covered in my palm sweat. Okay, another one. What was it? Sudden death from overplaying. This is multiple cases. World of Warcraft, Diablo 3, StarCraft. The community for this is very. I've been playing for 3 days. I haven't even seen anybody. It's the reason why things like DoorDash are such a prevalent industry. Somebody died after 50 hours of playing StarCraft Marathon with barely any food or sleep. Unnamed Taiwanese man died in an internet cafe after 3-day gaming binge. Cardiac arrest. Probably not a lot of movement in that.
Crazy.
3 days.
3 days. It's one thing when you. I don't know what the layout of this place was, but it's one thing when you're playing like World of Warcraft at home and you're like sitting in your favorite chair and you're doing your thing and you don't eat and sleep for 3 days or something. But if you're actually out in public at a like an internet cafe and everything, I would think that it's but I don't know. I've never really been in one in Japan or something that would.
Well, they're pretty. What I know is they're pretty prevalent over there. It's like a thing, like, and it's more like in a New York, like think about New York City, how that is. Like, it would be less obvious that guy would be there for 3 days, like, or you just kind of would like write it off because there's so much
like,
movement.
Is he like in comfortable chairs or is he like sitting on a stool? I guess that's my thing. Like, I don't know, like, what's the layout like? Are you on a couch playing this game? Like, how do you get comfortable enough to sit somewhere for 3 days?
I bet a lot of it was just like a clot that kind of built up after sitting for that long. I mean, I think they're just regular chairs. Like, there's nothing like, think about like a slot machine chair. I think it'd be like the equivalent of comfort. I don't know. But there's another one. It's called the Tails Doll Curse from Sonic R. So if you unlock the Tails doll character and complete certain conditions, the curse version appears in real life and causes accidents and hauntings. Totally fabricated urban legend, often related to creepypasta forums, but scared a lot of kids in the early 2000s. So, going back to that, you know what? The kids still got it. They still got their own little things. I got Sad Satan, a deep web horror game. Sad Satan, allegedly found on the deep web by a YouTube channel called Obscure Horror Corner. The game features disturbing imagery, reverse audio, creepy music. Their theories suggest it's cursed, haunted, or full of subliminal messaging. Truth: a version was uploaded publicly, but it's unclear if it's original. Still considered one of the internet's strangest game mysteries. I actually meant to look into this a little more because I was actually interested in that. Okay. So all that said, did you have anything to add? Because I have a game. We have a segment.
No, I'm good.
All right.
We'll play a game. We're talking about games.
Yeah, this week we're playing a game because we're talking about games. This game is going to be called video game or metal song.
Oh, all right. Yeah, we need to have like a little intro music for it, you know.
Oh, hold on. We're playing a game called Metal Song or Video Game. All right. So, first one. Title is Brutal Legend.
Ooh.
Video game or
That's the hard part. Like any of these could go either way, but I'm going to go video game.
Correct.
Oh yeah.
Right.
One for one.
Doomsday Machine.
Oh, that's a song for sure.
Oh yeah, you got it. Nailed it. This is pretty easy. Well, I guess I don't know. You don't know. Bloodborne.
Yeah, like I don't know any of the video games. Bloodborne. I don't recall that being on any Slayer album, so I'm gonna go video game.
It does sound like you got it right. Video game. Okay. Raining Blood.
Oh,
I'll probably just do it.
That's definitely a song. From
it
the Slayer
is a song,
catalog.
And that is a wait.
I mean, it probably could be a game too, but I mean that's a
no. You're right. It's a Slayer song from 1986.
Yeah, yeah, it's Slayer. Yeah.
And Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Senua's Sacrifice.
I'm gonna go video game.
Yep, you're right. Psychological action game from Ninja Theory. It's actually a very good game. I recommend it a lot, and I recommend wearing headphones while you play it because she talks to herself a lot. And it's really cool because she hears voices in her head, and they're like, "Kill yourself." And you're like, "Oh my god!" Like, all right. Bleed the Freak.
Oh, that's a song.
Yep, you're right. Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
All right. The Trooper.
Oh, come on. Song.
Killing it. Iron Maiden.
Classic.
I imagine it goes, "Come get the trooper."
Well, I won't do it because we'll get copyright struck, but it's a great song.
Hatred.
I'm gonna go. Well, first of all, I just want to say at this point I have got every single one of them right.
I know. I was gonna say. I was like, I haven't kept score. I'm like, you literally haven't got any wrong. It got to be
I'm going song on this one as well.
Oh, we got it wrong, baby!
Oh.
It's a top-down shooter. I'm sure there is a song called Hatred though, so it's almost a half.
Yeah.
All right.
I jinxed myself.
I know. Rust in Peace.
Oh, classic Megadeth song.
I'm actually playing it with the wrong person.
It's an album.
Yeah. And then March of the Fire Ants.
I'm gonna go video game.
That is a metal song by Mastodon.
The old Mastodon.
All right, last one. Let me get a good one. Blasphemous.
That's a song.
That is a video game. It's a Souls-like action platformer. We ended on a wrong note. I'm sorry. Well, wait. How about one more?
All right, let's do it. We'll finish on a high note.
No rest for the wicked.
Oh, please. Ozzy. Songs. Well, album. But,
So, trick question. It's both.
Yeah, we got a celebration.
Yeah, woo!
Random balloons just
balloon showed up. It's both. It's Metallica song actually, unreleased. It's from a mobile action RPG too. So whatever. So you got pretty much right.
It's the name of an Ozzy album. It was Zakk Wylde's first album with Ozzy, and the rest for the wicked.
Oh, he's on tour with Pantera right now, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yep.
Yeah.
You are correct, sir.
Every time I look in like a comment section about that tour, they're like, "No Dimebag, no tour," and I'm like, "Yeah, but it's like Zakk Wylde. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not like it's
the closest thing you're gonna get." Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's killing it. All right, well, that's what we got for this week with Polybius. So I appreciate you guys showing up. I'm trying to make a game every week. It's fun to kind of end like that. It feels a little more structured. It feels like we know what we're doing. Yeah, so join us every Friday. We're live on the internet, whether it's pre-recorded or not. You can get in the chat and just talk with your friends and stuff. It's a good time. So we appreciate you. So check us out on Master Soup Podcast at Facebook, and then you can check us out, or you can email us if you would enjoy to talk with us or whatever at mastersouppodcast@gmail.com. If you want to check out my silly art, Mischief Factory on TikTok and Instagram as well. I think it's the Mischief Factory on Instagram. And you can look at pictures of my head injury uncensored on TikTok, because I just posted like a little story about it, so that's fun if you want to see the wound in all its glory. But yeah, thanks everybody, we appreciate you, and we will see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. No. Polybius! Later, guys.
See ya.